Imagine this. You're lying in bed beside someone you love. Everything feels normal. You laugh, you talk, the moment feels right. But when things become intimate, your body doesn't respond the way it used to. You tell yourself, maybe I'm just tired. A few days later, it happens again. Then again. Now something changes. It isn't just your body anymore. Your confidence begins to disappear. You start making excuses. You avoid intimacy. Not because you don't want it, but because you're afraid of what might happen if you try. Here's the truth that surprises many men over 50. This doesn't always happen because your testosterone is low. It doesn't automatically mean your best years are behind you, and it certainly doesn't mean there's nothing you can do. In fact, many sexologists say the biggest mistake men make is trying to fix erectile problems without first understanding what's actually causing them. Some spend years chasing miracle supplements. Others rely on quick fixes that work for a few hours but never improve what's happening underneath. Meanwhile, other men quietly regain stronger erectile function by making a handful of changes that improve the way their body works from the inside out. Today, we're going to uncover 5 of those changes. Not miracle cures, not internet myths, not empty promises. Just practical habits and approaches that sexologists often recommend because they support the things erections depend on most: healthy blood flow, healthy nerves, balanced hormones, and a healthy mind. Now here's something most men never hear. The body rarely changes overnight. Long before erections become weaker, your body is usually sending smaller signals that are easy to ignore. You may notice your morning erections aren't as frequent as they used to be. You may feel less energetic. Recovery after exercise might take longer. Even your sleep may become lighter without you realizing it. Most men never connect these changes. They treat each one as a separate problem. I'm just tired. Work has been stressful. Maybe I'm not sleeping enough. I guess this is what getting older feels like. But what if all of those small changes were connected? What if your body wasn't failing, but trying to tell you something? Because that's exactly what many sexologists have discovered. Erectile function is rarely the first thing to change. More often, it's one of the last signals your body sends before finally getting your attention. And that's why simply treating the symptom, without understanding the cause, often leads to frustration. For years, I've had conversations with men who believed there was only one explanation: I'm getting older. Some had already accepted that nothing would improve. Others had spent years trying one product after another, hoping the next bottle, the next pill, or the next advertisement would finally solve the problem. I'm Dr. Lina. As a senior health specialist, I've learned that when it comes to erectile function after 50, the biggest obstacle often isn't age itself. It's misinformation. Many men are trying to fix the wrong problem, and when you chase the wrong problem, even the best solutions can disappoint you. The encouraging news is that the opposite is also true. Once you understand what's actually changing inside your body, the path forward becomes much clearer. That's exactly what I'd like to show you today. Not miracle cures, not embarrassing gimmicks, and certainly not unrealistic promises. Instead, let's look at 5 approaches that many sexologists recommend because they support the body in the places that matter most. You may discover that one small change, made consistently, can have a far greater impact than you ever expected. So let's begin with the place that surprises almost every man. The first thing sexologists focus on is improving blood flow. Many men believe restoring erectile function starts with testosterone. But surprisingly, many sexologists begin somewhere else: blood flow. Here's why. The encouraging news is this: unlike some changes that come with aging, blood vessel health can often improve. And when blood flow improves, many men notice stronger, firmer erections over time. So how do sexologists encourage men to support healthier circulation? Usually, they don't begin with expensive supplements. They begin with simple daily habits. Regular walking, cycling, swimming. Even a brisk 30-minute walk most days of the week can help improve circulation throughout the body. Many specialists also recommend controlling blood pressure, keeping blood sugar in a healthy range, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding smoking, since all of these directly affect the tiny blood vessels needed for erections. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Healthy blood vessels respond to healthy habits. Week after week, month after month, they can become more flexible and work more efficiently. For some men, these improvements are enough to notice better erectile function. For others, they become an important foundation that allows other treatments to work more effectively. That's why sexologists often say, you don't just treat the erection, you improve the environment that allows an erection to happen. But healthy blood flow is only part of the story. Many men improve their circulation, yet still don't notice the results they hoped for. Why? Because something happening every single night may be quietly working against them. This is the difference. The second thing sexologists often ask about is your sleep. Here's a question that surprises many men. When was the last time you woke up with a natural morning erection? For some, it's been weeks. For others, months. Many assume that's simply another part of getting older. But sexologists often see it differently. Morning erections aren't just about sex. They're one of the body's ways of showing that the blood vessels, nerves, and hormones involved in erections are still working together. When those morning erections become less frequent, it can be a clue that something deeper has changed. One of the biggest reasons? Poor sleep. Most people think sleep is simply about resting. In reality, it's one of the busiest times for your body. While you're asleep, your body repairs tissues, it balances hormones, it supports healthy blood vessels, and during the deeper stages of sleep, it naturally produces several erections throughout the night. These aren't caused by sexual thoughts. They're part of your body's normal maintenance system. But when sleep becomes shorter, lighter, or constantly interrupted, that natural process can begin to break down. That's why many sexologists don't just ask, "How are your erections?" They also ask, "How are you sleeping?" The encouraging news is that improving sleep often improves much more than energy. Many men notice better mood, better focus, and over time, better sexual function as well. So where should you start? Try going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day. Reduce bright screens during the hour before bed. Limit alcohol late in the evening. If you snore heavily or often wake up feeling exhausted, talk with your doctor, because conditions such as sleep apnea can affect both your sleep quality and erectile function. Sometimes, improving sleep doesn't create an overnight change, but over weeks and months, giving your body the rest it needs can help restore the healthy processes that support stronger erections. Now, here's where many men are caught off guard. Some exercise regularly, they sleep well, their blood tests look perfectly normal, yet they still struggle when the moment arrives. Why? Because the next factor has nothing to do with the body, and everything to do with what's happening in the mind. The third thing sexologists often recommend is reducing performance stress. Here's something that surprises many men. The more you worry about getting an erection, the harder it often becomes to have one. Sexologists even have a name for this: performance anxiety. After one disappointing experience, many men start thinking, what if it happens again? Unfortunately, that worry can become part of the problem. When you're anxious, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline. Instead of relaxing your blood vessels, those hormones tighten them. Less blood reaches the penis, making an erection more difficult. That's why many sexologists don't just focus on the body, they also focus on the mind. So what do they recommend? First, stop treating one disappointing experience as proof that something is permanently wrong. Almost every man experiences occasional erection problems. One difficult night doesn't define your future. Second, take the pressure off yourself. Many couples find that slowing down, spending more time on intimacy, and removing the expectation that everything has to happen perfectly actually improves erections. Third, if stress has become a regular part of your life, find healthy ways to reduce it. Daily walks, deep breathing, meditation, yoga, or simply setting aside quiet time each day. These habits help lower stress hormones and allow your body to shift back into a relaxed state, the state where healthy erections are far more likely to happen. And if anxiety has become persistent, don't hesitate to speak with a qualified therapist or sex therapist. Many men are surprised by how much their confidence and their erections improve once that mental pressure begins to lift. Because restoring erectile function isn't just about improving blood flow. It's also about creating the right conditions for your body to respond naturally. But there's another factor that many men overlook completely. In fact, some don't realize it's affecting their erections until their doctor points it out. Many men look for a miracle pill, but sexologists often look at something much simpler. Imagine trying to grow a healthy plant. You can pour expensive fertilizer on it every day, but if the soil is dry, nothing changes. That's how many sexologists describe erectile dysfunction. Many men spend years looking for a stronger pill, when the real problem is that their body is missing the basic ingredients it needs to function properly. One of those ingredients is good nutrition. No single food can cure erectile dysfunction, and no diet can guarantee stronger erections. But what you eat every day has a direct impact on the blood vessels, hormones, and nerves that erections depend on. That's why many sexologists encourage men to eat in a way that supports their entire cardiovascular system. So what does that actually look like? It usually means eating more foods that naturally support healthy circulation. Leafy green vegetables, berries, nuts, beans, whole grains, olive oil, and fish that contain healthy fats, such as salmon or sardines. These foods help support healthy blood vessels and reduce inflammation throughout the body. At the same time, many specialists recommend cutting back on foods that work against good circulation. Highly processed foods, sugary drinks, too much alcohol, and meals loaded with unhealthy fats. None of these foods cause erectile dysfunction overnight, but eating them regularly for years can slowly affect the health of your blood vessels. The encouraging news is that your body is remarkably adaptable. When you begin feeding it better, your blood vessels can start functioning more efficiently. Your energy often improves, your heart benefits, and over time, many men also notice improvements in their sexual health. The goal isn't following a perfect diet. It's making better choices more often than not, because every healthy meal is another opportunity to support the systems that make healthy erections possible. But even men who eat well, exercise regularly, and manage their stress sometimes continue struggling. That's because there's one final recommendation sexologists often consider, and it has less to do with your body than with the relationship you're in. The final thing sexologists encourage is something many men put off for years. Let's be honest, for many men, the hardest part isn't changing their diet, it isn't exercising, and it isn't improving their sleep. It's talking about erectile dysfunction. Some men stay silent for months, others for years. Not because they don't care, but because they're embarrassed, or they convince themselves it'll probably get better on its own. The problem is, silence doesn't solve the cause, and sometimes erectile dysfunction isn't just about sexual health. It can be an early sign of other medical conditions that deserve attention. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, certain medications, even depression. That's why sexologists often encourage men not to treat erectile dysfunction as something to hide, but as a reason to learn more about what's happening inside their body. One simple conversation with your doctor can sometimes uncover a problem that has been developing quietly for years. And if a medical condition is found and treated, many men notice improvements not only in their overall health, but in their erectile function as well. The same is true in relationships. Many men carry this burden alone. They stop initiating intimacy. They avoid conversations. They begin pulling away emotionally. Meanwhile, their partner often has no idea what's really happening. Sexologists regularly encourage couples to talk openly instead of making assumptions. That conversation may feel uncomfortable at first, but many couples say it becomes the moment they stop seeing erectile dysfunction as his problem and start treating it as something they can face together. Sometimes that change alone removes an enormous amount of pressure, and confidence begins to return. If there's one thing I hope you remember from today's video, it's this. Growing older doesn't automatically mean giving up on intimacy. Yes, your body changes with age, but many of the factors that affect erectile function can also improve. Healthier blood flow, better sleep, less stress, good nutrition, and getting the right medical advice when you need it. None of these are instant fixes, but together, they create the conditions your body needs to function at its best. So instead of asking, "Is this just my age?" try asking, "What is my body asking me to improve?" That one question can completely change the way you approach your health. If today's video helped you better understand erectile function after 50, share it with someone who may need to hear this message. And if you'd like more practical, evidence-based advice to help you stay healthy, active, and confident as you age, subscribe to the channel and join me in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself, and remember that it's never too late to invest in your health.